Welcome to the show.
This is The Adults Are Talking, and today we're talking money.
Money.
We're talking about billionaires. We just watched this clip from this candidate for mayor in New York who was on an interview, and he was asked about billionaires, if they should exist, and he said he doesn't think billionaires should exist.
Yeah. He was saying that we shouldn't get to the point where we even have billionaires. Like, there should be more equality among money.
Right. And so I know that it's really easy when you're not a billionaire,
Which is most of us.
which includes us, surprisingly.
Pretty much 99% of the world.
What do you mean you're not billionaire? You have this amazing podcast.
Sorry, I laughed a little too hard and loud on that.
Thanks for your support. Yeah, I know it's really easy when you're not a billionaire to say, yeah, there shouldn't be any billionaires. You know, when you don't have money, it's really easy to say, yeah, give me the money. Yeah, let's make things fair. But in reality, things not being fair is actually the fairest thing of all.
Yeah.
Let's think about, what does the Bible say about wealth?
Yeah.
You know, I think it says a lot of different things. I think we all know the famous verse, the love of money, or the desire of money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not money itself, but the desire of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's also been said by some rabbis that, you know, it's not good to pursue money because when you're young, you spend your youth chasing money. And then when you're old, you spend your money chasing youth. So there's really no point to it, and it just ends up wasting your time, which is, as we know, very precious. You only get so much of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first really rich guy in the Bible was Abraham, right? Wasn't he ridiculously wealthy?
Well, in terms of, ownership and assets, Abraham was a very wealthy man. You know, he was blessed by God with a lot of cattle and sheep and
money, too.
And money.
Mm-hmm.
Adam had the whole garden.
He had everything.
He had everything. So we do know that the Bible isn't necessarily against being wealthy. I think if you put things out of order to pursue money, and then once you have the money, the wealth, that it pushes things out of order again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem. It creates an imbalance. You know, like any other imbalance in your life or in your body, it creates problems.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that we shouldn't have any billionaires, I don't think that's a realistic statement, but, you know, not really a statement that aligns itself with the vision of what America was wanting to be.
Yeah, and look, there's people that work hard and there's people that don't work hard, and it's in all the different categories of wealth or non-wealth.
Right.
You've got that, and it's not fair to just take someone's hard-earned wealth from them when they worked hard for it. You wouldn't do that to a poor person.
Right. And let's be fair. There are some billionaires who did not work hard for it. It was an inheritance.
Yeah.
But then afterwards are working hard to administrate it properly. I mean, there's some billionaires that, you know, are that total stereotype of just cruel and heartless and greedy.
So if you do a deep dive, I can't give you all the specifics. I've done this before, and I've worked with different charity organizations and stuff in my lifetime. I'm not bragging or anything. They weren't. Yeah, I should have done more. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is if you do a deep dive into government helping out the needy versus privatizing, private groups or people giving, the charity of a private person is way more of a contribution and actually helping doing things that are longer term than the government.
Right.
And when you allow for privatized help and more of it, it goes off the charts. So to stifle someone's wealth and take it away is not encouraging that. And we need more of the, because the wealthy, they do get a tax write-off. That's true when they do help. But for a billionaire, that's a big chunk of change. That's a tax write-off to help. You can't sneeze at that. But also, like the ones that are more giving with their heart, and there are some that are, they do incredible work. I know for a fact that the guy that owns Domino's from Detroit, I've been there and saw it with my own eyes. He did so much work and still does, the family, in Nicaragua and other places. Nicaragua, sorry, I'll say it right. Nicaragua. In southern, South or Central America and South America, because they have a passion for helping other Christians in those countries. And I saw it with my own eyes. It's just like the churches he builds and the building
so
communities.
They do a lot of charity work. Billionaires do a lot of charity work on their own. I think when the government's trying to come in and eliminate billionaires, they're only trying to take that money for themselves under the disguise of making things more equal for the community, when we've seen time and time again the government misappropriate money that's meant to go to the citizens. I mean, we just saw this with the Doge cuts.
Yeah.
Look how much money was being used for things overseas, ridiculous things, not even, legitimate things that actually help people in their day-to-day lives, just ridiculous experiments and treatments and
really odd stuff too.
Really wacky stuff. So, like Reagan said, the scariest words you can hear a government say is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." But so the idea of not having any billionaires, I think when the government makes it their job to eliminate billionaires, I think that's a huge red flag.
It's a huge red flag, and it's a form of stealing, I believe.
Yeah. Studies have shown that conservatives give more to charity than liberals.
Yeah.
That's already been proven.
Yeah.
And so, if liberal candidates want to make things fair, they should first demonstrate in their own personal lives the willingness to do that, but they don't. They just want the government to make things fair. At least that's what they say. And then when it comes time to do it, they don't. I mean, just look at the teachers' unions. How many teachers complain about not having enough supplies?
Yeah.
Yet the administrations keep getting more money and more money. Meanwhile, it doesn't trickle down to the people it's actually supposed to go to, the teachers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
now, are all billionaires nice, great people? We're not defending that. We're just saying the idea of wanting to pursue wealth and success to that degree, I don't think is something that should be. That is how this country becomes successful and great and is able to defend itself and defend other countries.
Yeah, capitalism right now is what's supporting AI, that's creating more jobs and helping fuel a lot of efficiency, not just like in healthcare and in the education department and all kinds of jobs. It's a big boom. And who do you think's funding that? And most of those are liberal billionaires like Bezos and Bill Gates and, all those guys, and even Facebook, Zuckerberg. But I mean, you have to encourage them to keep being billionaires,
So if any of you billionaires want to help the little podcast that thinks you're all right,
Mark,
go ahead and write a check too. But let us know what you think of billionaires.
Yeah.
Should they exist? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And thanks for listening.